Something about Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland didn't feel normal. Khamzat dominated round 1 with control on the ground, but after that, the entire fight changed. The wrestling pressure disappeared, the takedowns became weaker, and Khamzat suddenly chose to strike with Sean for the rest of the fight. That's why many fans started asking, was this fight fixed? First, let's talk about what this fight even was. Khamzat Chimaev and Sean Strickland's bitter grudge match had been building for a long time. These two were former training partners turned bitter rivals. The UFC middleweight championship bout was the headliner of UFC 328 on May 9, 2026, at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. The beef between these two was real. At the pre-fight press conference, Chimaev even threw a kick at Strickland, forcing Dana White to cancel their face-off at the ceremonial weigh-ins to prevent the fight from being pulled entirely. The tension was off the charts. Now here's where it gets spicy, and this is the #1 reason people are crying fix: the weigh-ins. Reports suggested Chimaev had to cut a whopping 46 pounds for his first official title defense. He was the last fighter to step on the scale during the 2-hour weigh-in window, and he looked like he was on death's door. The New Jersey State Athletic Commission registered Chimaev at 185 pounds, but many, including Strickland himself, have theorized the commission representative didn't allow the manual scale to settle fully before declaring Chimaev had hit the mark. Yahoo Sports. And Strickland? He didn't mince words at the post-fight press conference. He said, he 1,000% missed weight. We had a guy from my camp watching him get on the check scale. UFC CEO Dana White separated himself from the controversy and said everything was done by the book. But fans aren't buying it. Here's the key thing, though. If Chimaev had actually missed weight, there wouldn't have been a title defense for him. In past such instances, the champion who missed weight has been stripped of the title, with it only available for the challenger to win. So if anything, a Chimaev weight miss would have actually helped Strickland's cause, not hurt it.
They were acting like they wanted to kill each other. They couldn't wait to get at each other. And then to start that fight, they were extremely friendly, even talking to each other.
Why would he do that? I know, again, a lot of people say, Teddy, come on, he's just being a sport. He never did that before. When he did that, I said, maybe he's doing it because he knows he's not right. Because he knows he's not right.
The first round went kind of, I think, how every single person on earth thought it would go. Chimaev got a takedown in 15 seconds, and I thought that was 14 seconds longer than it could have taken him.
Yeah.
And just rode him like Seabiscuit for the entire round.
We all expected it. Somebody's getting taken down in round 1, and we all know who it was. We knew Sean Strickland is going to get taken down in round 1, minute 1.
You had Khamzat, who got off to such a great start, utilizing his grappling to great effect, was all over Sean Strickland. You said, oh man, is this going to be a replay of Chimaev versus DDP?
Strickland did a great job, like controlling the hands, you know, and he stayed calm the whole time. Another thing that you could feel if you're on somebody's back or you're trying to go for submissions, you could feel how comfortable that guy is there in those positions, and that could kind of wear on you.
Only one, which for most things is not a big deal.
Was perfect, stayed calm, didn't panic, wasn't in a rush to try and get back to his feet, didn't make a mistake, just stayed cool as a cucumber.
Once you're the guy who is known for not being able to pace himself or not having gas or whatever it is, where you know it's hard for you to put in effort for 25 minutes, a coach can always say at the end of round 1, the worst is no matter what happens, the worst is over, you got this guy. And that was Sean Strickland in round number 1.
Neither of them landed a significant strike in round 1. I didn't love that so much, but I guess takedowns in 4:47 of control time, I guess you win.
No, I don't think anybody can stop round 1 Chimaev from doing what he wants to do. But after that round 1, you can't keep that crazy pace. It's an insane pace. It's not human.
Because I think we all kind of had this concept of Chimaev, right? Where you're like, hey, he exerts a lot of energy with his wrestling. If he can't get you out of there early on, if he can't submit you early on, then he will start to fade. But nobody thought he was going to fade in the second round.
Chimaev threw a few strikes before driving forward and scoring an almost immediate takedown. Within 15 seconds, he had Strickland down. He took Strickland's back and got both hooks in. Strickland kept hold of Chimaev's left wrist with both hands as Chimaev tried to set up submissions. Chimaev kept one hook on the side rather than locking up a body triangle. Strickland kept twisting from side to side, turning over to recover while Chimaev stayed on him like a cheap suit. Chimaev stepped into high mount, landing strikes before Strickland pushed him off. The champ then lifted Strickland up and slammed him to the ground, going for a rear naked choke that he switched to a face crank. Strickland survived it all and made it to the bell. Chimaev was completely dominant. Strickland's survival instincts were on full display, but he barely escaped with his head. This round was never in doubt. Chimaev 10-9, all 3 judges.
I thought he was going to fade in the second round.
I mean, I guess just how fast Khamzat's cardio went down. I mean, it was very obvious. And, you know, I think everybody who's kind of tuned in figured that the later the fight went, the better it probably would be for Sean, you know? But to see it go, like, especially after a dominant first round, that, like, all of a sudden, man, the best wrestler in MMA was shooting some pretty bad takedowns there in the second round.
Second round, I couldn't believe it. I was watching it. He shoots that takedown. Sean sprawls. There's a bit of a back and forth struggle. Khamzat goes to his back. That was never in the game plan. No. It's never in the game plan of a wrestler. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, this fight's over.
In round 2, before Khamzat Chimaev gassed out randomly in round 2, what people are saying, Strickland wobbled him with a right hand.
Sean Strickland catches Khamzat Chimaev with that beautiful right hand, bro. He went jab, boom, caught him with the right. And if you notice, bro, the commentators didn't catch that. I think these commentators could do a better job to really describing when somebody's actually hurt. He hurt him, dude. Khamzat Chimaev was on that stanky leg, bro. But he did a good job being composed.
It looks horrible now. It looks like Khamzat Chimaev is weak as a kitten. Sean Strickland's on top of him. He's doing some work. He's dominating the round. They stand back up to their feet. And again, Khamzat Chimaev tries to shoot a sloppy shot. Sean gets on top of him. He actually pulls guard again the second time. This time, the pulls guard. He flops to his back.
We were texting each other. Remember, we were in the group chat going, oh shit, this is it. We thought if it was going to happen, I thought it was going to be later than round 2, that he goes out there and he starts pulling guards, stuffing takedowns. I really thought that was it. His energy is done. He's got nothing left in him to be able to fight.
Guys, I'm a 46-year-old man. I wrestle every day. Let me tell you something. After 7 minutes of wrestling, I'm not flopping on my back. I'm not in the best shape of my life. I'm not prepping for a fight, but I can wrestle for 7 minutes. How come Khamzat Chimaev, the best pound for pound wrestler we have alive today in MMA wrestling, obviously. Why did he get so weak in round 2 all of a sudden? I mean, even if you're a mid-level UFC fighter, you shouldn't be getting tired at minute 7.
And he fails on those 2 takedowns. Dude, Chimaev looked like he was completely gassed in round fucking 2. How is that possible? I know what the answer is. He had a terrible cut, but dude, what? How is that possible? How is it possible you fell apart in round 2?
And you could see the frenzy in the corner at the end of the second. You're saying things to him that you're saying to a defeated fighter. A guy where you're like, I hope he gets back up off the stool now. They were saying, you're fine, mate. Like, everything's okay.
Yeah, it was kind of like, don't panic was the was the tenor of the conversation. Like,
but to say that, though, that Chimaev got off from there and then fought 2-3 rounds on his feet is very impressive too. So I am going to give him props on that it didn't go his way that he wanted to, and obviously just
Strickland survived that early storm and recaptured control in the second frame, easily fending off Chimaev's 2 takedown attempts while peppering the now former champ with jabs and combinations from his trademark Philly shell style offense. Strickland attempted to work back to his feet multiple times, and Chimaev was able to take the back, but found Strickland much more difficult to keep down this round. Strickland began finding his range and showing that the round 1 dominance had a cost, Chimaev's energy. A clear Strickland round. He proved the jab was working and that Chimaev's gas tank was already being drained. Strickland 10-9.
2-3 rounds on his feet is very impressive too. So I am going to give him props on that it didn't go his way that he wanted to, and obviously just grapple the whole night and dry hump. He actually stood up on his feet and started throwing leather.
he did show up in the third round. He did dig deep. He did find a second win. However, Sean still won the third round, but he did allow himself to get backed up. What Sean should have done, he was going jabs as always, throwing right hands. Khamzat, every time Sean would throw a jab, both arms would come up. I can't do both because I'm holding a camera, but both arms would come up. That reveals the stomach, the belly. It was right there for a jab, right hand to the midsection. Had he have done that, that would have slowed Khamzat down even further.
Sean led him back in that fight in the third round. And I thought, to be honest, I thought that Sean Strickland made that fight a lot tougher than it needed to be. If he would have stepped on the gas, walked forward a little bit more in that second and third round, I think you would have, this probably maybe not have went to the scorecards. He just chose to leave him inside, let Khamzat stay in the fight by just tapping him with the jab. You got to pull the trigger more.
You know what? You guys tell me too. Like, the strange thing that happened in that third round was you start to dupe yourself into believing that, okay, this fight is standing. This means that Strickland is fighting his fight without, and then you kind of lose track of, like, wait a minute, Chimaev actually might be winning the exchanges in this fight.
And he's smiling. He's smiling. Khamzat Chimaev is having fun. He's happy. He loves this. And then he starts to put up a guard, like a tight guard, like almost like a Peter Yan guard, and he's creeping up to Sean, and he's actually looking a little bit more re-energized. I was like, oh, something's wrong with him. He had a horrible weight cut. We're all horrible weight cut. Yes, okay, he had a horrible weight cut, but right now, round 3, he's looking like he's getting his energy back.
I do think it's important to say that Sean Strickland had great moments striking, but so did Chimaev. Chimaev's third round to me was I think it was the third or the fourth round where he was really busting him up with the jab. That was great by Chimaev. From orthodox, he was able to really get that jab going. Couldn't really ever get the right hand going. Neither guy really got the right hand going.
Now, this was something they talked about on comms. I think Rogan brought it up that Sean wasn't throwing that right hand as much as he probably should have. He dominated the fight with that jab and he threw a few, but he wasn't throwing low to the point where Rogan went, I hope his shoulder's okay. And then in the aftermath, he said he busted his shoulder, he tore something in his shoulder the week before the fight, to the point that he didn't even warm up backstage because he was scared of popping his shoulder out, Strickland said.
We saw that later in the fight. I think when you are overtrained, I think when you have that adrenaline dump, he got a second win, but it never filled all the way back up to the point where he was able to push and with explosiveness. We never saw that. And luckily for him, Sean Strickland doesn't fight that way. Sean Strickland fights at a very sparring pace type speed. And that's what we saw.
Khamzat appeared to tire after the opening round, and that trend continued into the third, with Strickland outlanding Khamzat to the tune of 43-29 in significant strikes. Most surprisingly, Khamzat failed to attempt a single takedown in round 3, instead spending large stretches walking into the end of Strickland's jab. The third round started with Strickland as a live betting favorite, a wild live betting line movement that signaled the fight was going completely off script. This was the swing round. Most media members gave it to Strickland based on output, but one analyst noted that Chimaev's damage could have given him the round. It was genuinely arguable. Either way, Strickland 10-9 contested.
Turned it around a little bit though. Round 3, Strickland, he caused more damage on the face of Chimaev. He picked him apart with a jab. Round 4, Chimaev started landing a couple right hands. He started popping Sean's head back with a jab. I'll go one further. He broke Sean Strickland's nose in round 4. I'm being very unbiased here. I'm being very unbiased here, folks. He broke Sean Strickland's nose in round 4 with a jab. Popped his head back and Strickland was like, oh shit, my nose is fucking busted.
It's just, to me, if you watch the fight, I thought Chimaev's punching was harder. And the fact that it shattered the nose, that was the round where Strickland goes back to his corner after the end of the round, and his face looked like Frank Mir after getting done up by Brock Lesnar. We got a picture here after the fight.
That was bad.
This is after the fight. This is not after the round. But yeah, dude, I mean, he got, again, and Chimaev's face is a shit show too. It's not like it's one way or the other.
The thing that was very telling for me in the third and the fourth round was that Chimaev was getting what he wanted in terms of, we're standing up, we're striking, but you're backing Strickland up. He's backing up toward the fence. At times, his back would touch the fence every once in a while, but he's backing up past that warning track, that black little line that fighters often call the warning track. that's where you want him if you're Khamzat. And that was something that Sean Strickland's corner was warning him about. Like, hey, you get past that line, if he backs you up toward the fence, that's when he's going to shoot. And he wasn't shooting then. And I thought that was very telling. That told me Chimaev is still worried about his cardio.
Okay, it was a crazy lopsided. Anyways, I don't want to sidetrack here. Khamzat looking better. He's looking refreshed. Khamzat actually comes back in round 4 and wins round 4. I think he won.
The fourth was contested exclusively on the feet, with Chimaev landing more power shots while Strickland maintained his greater output. Chimaev began digging to the body with punches as Strickland seemed to fatigue slightly. After almost 2 rounds of striking, Chimaev secured another takedown late in the 4th round, holding Strickland's back until the end of the round. Chimaev's power shots and the late takedown gave him this round on most cards. Critically, all 3 cage-side judges had the fight a draw heading into round 5. 2 rounds apiece for each fighter. Easy Chimaev, 10-9.
5, Khamzat gets a takedown again, and within the first minute, he gets Sean to the ground.
It was an incredible fight, incredibly close fight. Sean knew him from training. They both knew each other from training. So there's that element to it that they kind of knew what to expect because they had interacted with each other before, at least in a sparring way. But man, what a fight. It's one of those fights where both guys just drained the tank.
Yeah.
Particularly in that 5th round.
Yeah.
You could see as Sean's hitting him, it's like they had everything they had. They emptied it out. And the scorecards reflected that. It was so close.
You know, if you're looking at the way Chimaev was moving forward, it could like throw off on like how many shots are actually being landed. Strickland definitely landed the better shots in the 5th round. It was a very close round. It could have went. I think it could have went either way.
Now, Khamzat Chimaev did have some success on the feet when it came to the fight. When it came to the fight between him and Sean Strickland, it just wasn't enough to sway the judges in his favor, even though he had more control time. Sean Strickland did land more of the significant strikes, but Khamzat Chimaev did land more takedowns. So it all is based on what the judges wanted to score and what they deemed was more of a damage and what was scored higher.
Brother, I am the grappler, and I'm telling you, I agree with the decision. Would I have been mad if Khamzat won? No. But I agree with the decision because he got 9 takedowns and offered almost 0 damage. And that was because he was just holding on, trying to just control him. And the guy kept trying to stand back up. And when you have that, now you're now fighting to wrestle this person the whole time when all he's doing is posting and standing up, posting and standing up.
Chimaev immediately shot for a takedown to start the 5th round and quickly took Strickland's back while Strickland attempted to scramble. In the 5th, Chimaev opened with a takedown, only for Strickland to quickly work his way free before the two traded on the feet. Chimaev landing the more significant individual blows while Strickland responded with his signature volume. Strickland continued to land sharp jabs, though everything seemed defensive, leaving it unclear if judges would favor his volume over Chimaev's harder strikes. The fight was very much in question heading to the official scorecards. Judge Sanadad scored the 5th for Chimaev, crediting his wrestling, but she was overruled. Judges D'Amato and Colin both gave the nod to Strickland in the final frame. The most debated 5 minutes in the middleweight division in years. Chimaev had more takedowns, Strickland had more output. Depending on how you weight grappling versus striking volume, you could legitimately give it to either man. So was it fixed? Here's the reality check. There is zero credible evidence this fight was fixed. What we do have is 1. A deeply controversial split decision that even trained scorers disagreed on. 2. A weight cut controversy that the commission officially cleared. 3. A fighter in Chimaev who appeared physically drained and may have underperformed because of a brutal 46-pound cut. After the fight, Chimaev walked up to Dana White and said he wants to move up to light heavyweight. "I don't want to fight at this weight again," he reportedly said. That tells you everything about his physical state going into this fight. The fixed narrative is being fueled by the weight controversy, the close scorecards, and the fact that Chimaev, the biggest star in the division, lost. But close decisions in MMA have been debated forever. Even the veteran judges who scored it for Strickland, Eric Colon, and Sal D'Amato had fan scorecard support. 64.3% of over 1,400 submitted fan scorecards on MMA decisions agreed with their 48-47 assessment for Strickland. Was UFC 328 fixed based on the evidence? No. Was it one of the most controversial UFC events in years? Absolutely. Drop your scorecard in the comments. Who did you have winning? And don't forget to like and subscribe for all the latest MMA breakdowns.